We're going to talk about the skill and the strategy that most marketers miss. And this is what keeps people struggling. But what you're going to see is after we go through this video, there's a very good chance you're going to start to see how this game is also easier, right? Most people make this incredibly difficult. It's not a tech business. It's not an information business. It's just a people business. So this is going to be a very valuable video, and you'll really start to see what actually makes you money, okay? And it's not what most people think it is. Okay, so first, before we get into what the skill is and why it's so important, I just want to take a moment and say, right now, you probably are understanding that what I'm suggesting is that you get into the money niche, where you teach people, help people learn how to make money through the purchase of a marketing course that you promote as an affiliate. And you're kind of maybe thinking to yourself, oh, that sounds great, Brian, but, I don't have results. How am I going to make any money? All that stuff, right? I totally get it. You're not alone. This is what everybody thinks. But what I want to say is don't get caught up in the hype. And I'm going to show you how to eliminate competition, which means you don't need income proof. You don't need all the things that you think that you need. Okay, so this is a tech adoption curve really quickly. Basically, you see this when you think about the new iPhone coming out. You got innovators and early adopters who buy the first couple of iPhones. And then, people like me and maybe you, we get in later to the game. We hold on to our BlackBerry for a little while. That's the mass market or the mainstream market, right? So what a lot of people see in the make money online space and the affiliate marketing industry is all early market stuff, okay? Where a new product launches, there's a bunch of hype, there's a bunch of screenshots, and people buy, and the only people who make money are the people with the biggest screenshots, right? That doesn't last very long. That's not very stable. Some people like to chase that. I do not. But what we have to understand is that early market is a very tiny portion of the market. Whereas the mainstream market still wants to make money online, right? People now more than ever want to find alternative sources of income, a way that they can eventually either quit their job or bolster their retirement or never get a job altogether, or, simply supplement their income with an online business. And that's the mainstream market. These people are, skeptical. They went to college. They worked in a 9-to-5 for X number of years. They like it safe, okay? So what we can do to earn stable money and eliminate competition is actually market to the mainstream market. That means avoiding the hype, right? Because to be honest with you, the 84% of the market, the mainstream market, doesn't even like hype and screenshots. They get turned off by it. They see red flags, all that stuff. So what we want to do is we want to eliminate all the competition, stay away from the hype, and look to the mainstream market, because this is really where the most money is, right? It's the biggest market. Okay. And what happens though is people are generally missing pillars to market to the mainstream market. Okay. Because marketing to the mainstream market is pretty simple. You have an offer, you have a story, you talk about something you found, you like, that gave you information, you build trust with an audience on social media, which I'm going to show you how to do in other videos. The people watching you start to learn about the business model or opportunity. They see how it's not as risky as many other things through your stories and what you tell them, and that's when they buy the course. So it's a process. But what most marketers screw up is they only focus on getting more views or making more sales, okay? If I get more views, I'll make more money, and that's not the case. That could be the case if you have the screenshots and you're in the early market, but we don't have to do early market hype stuff. What we need to do is we need to fill the missing pillars. Okay, these are the two pillars that support the bridge that move your views to the sale, right? Make sense? Seem reasonable, right? Actually nurturing people to a sale, right? And those two pillars are not as difficult as people think. It's just you have to capture attention and hold attention, okay? Because people need to watch you for a period of time before they'll decide to buy your course. Okay, what you're probably seeing here is this becomes less about selling the course or selling the dream and more about selling yourself. Okay, we're going to talk about all this in future videos, but capturing attention and holding attention are the most important things. What this means is this game is not just go viral and make a bunch of money. Right? This game can be go viral and make no money if you don't know how to capture attention and hold attention. Right? This game is not about the biggest income claims, because that only works when the early market is buzzing about a new product, right? We want stable money. We want something where we can promote the same thing for an extended period of time so we can make consistent income that scales, right? Because growth in this game can be exponential when you stick to a plan and stand behind an offer for a long enough time. So those are the two important pillars. I just want to drive this point home before I end this video. If you Google Google's 7-11-4 rule, basically it states for people to buy from you, right? Because that's what we're trying to do here is we're trying to get people to buy from us. The prospect needs to build enough trust, and you've probably heard this, right? This game is won by building the know, like, and trust factor. Well, what Google says is your prospects need to spend 7 hours with you across 11 touch points and 4 separate locations. And what that means is this game really becomes not about getting the most views or having the biggest income claims or hyping people up. It comes down to building your tribe one person at a time. Okay? And that's why anybody can win this game, is because you have all these maybe concerns or fears, or you think you're not this enough or that enough, right? When you just have the ability to go on social media and share your authenticity, your vulnerability, what you're learning, what you found that worked, what you found that didn't work, you are going to find people on the internet who see themselves in you. And when they do that, they will be connected to you. And when you introduce them to an opportunity to improve their life and improve their finances, if they see themselves in you, they will move forward. So that means we need to create content, but we don't need to create high production level content. We do not need to create expert level content. We need to be a little bit more authentic and real. We need to capture people's attention, maybe get them on an email list, maybe follow up with them via email, which we're going to talk about all this stuff. So they can see us, they can experience us, they can learn about the offer that we're trying to promote to them, and they can come to a decision on their own. That, guys, is really what this game is all about. It's not selling. I was a terrible salesperson in the restaurant industry. I was no good at selling wine. I never sold the expensive bottles. This is not about selling. This is about giving people the opportunity to, once again, decide for themselves that they want to follow in your footsteps. Right? If you can do that, which I know you can, then you can get a distinct advantage, eliminate competition, make the money even if you don't have income proof, build a following from scratch of people who like you for you, and it can be a magical thing. All right, I'll see you in the next video where we start to get more into the nuts and bolts of how to put together an affiliate marketing campaign that produces results.